Hello and welcome to our special edition of Politiki, brought to you by News 24. My name is Mahlatse Gallens. We're continuing to talk to various people inside of the ANC to get a sense of what is going on in the deliberations. We know that this is day 2 of the ANC's Policy Conference, and with me now in studio is the Treasurer General, and that is Zweli Mkhize. Thank you very much and welcome to Politiki. The main thing today has been around the diagnostic report that was presented by the Secretary General, Zweli Mkhize. Do you think the ANC was being frank enough in identifying the challenges that it's facing?
Very frank. I think you must check from the President's input. His address did not shy away from the thorny issues that face the organization. The Secretary General's report went further into those details, and the subsequent presentations, particularly the one that's on organizational renewal, was basically calling on the ANC to take for each of the ills that we have identified to come with a solution. And we are now saying for the next 2 days the delegates must focus on the solutions, each of these issues that are raised. So when we start with the issues of factions, what do we do? The issue of lobbying for leadership, what do we do? There are now suggestions that are saying we need to open this up so that the people who are being nominated must not be, lobbied for by people who are, doing it on an underground basis. It needs to be dealt with openly.
So maybe an open contest like we see, for example, with the American system.
Yes, I would say more like what the Chama Pinduzi of Tanzania does, where they basically would say all those who want to contest, they must come up. And when they do, then they look at them and they say, well, we don't think that your image is such that it will be good for the organization, so you can't go in. And then the others will be told, go and talk to your members and let them ask the questions. Who are you? What have you been doing? What are you going to do for us? Why should you do this? Why should we elect you? And so on and so on. It's going to be a very interesting discussion.
It's definitely a break in tradition because the tradition of the ANC was that, you are asked by others to serve.
Yes, it is indeed. In a way, it's not very different, except this time we're going to say if we want to nominate so and so, call him. Let's talk to them and understand what they're all about. But what I think is good on this discussion is that it's actually trying to avoid a sense of anonymity in the way that people get to be proposed. It needs to be put on the table, and therefore, instead of this discussion starting much later, it might start much earlier.
I just want to go back to the diagnostic report, though, TG. One of the things that you talk about as a threat is this issue of the regime change agenda. Some have said this is just paranoia on the side of the ANC.
No, I don't think it's paranoia on the side of the ANC. I think the issue of any other groups and forces who are interested in the ANC being removed from power is a reality. Otherwise, there will not be any politics. So that's one issue. But we are saying that that's one problem. The major issues that we want to solve are the issues that are within our hands, that are caused by our own behavior, the way we deal with each other, the way we deal with our assignment, the way we deal with the people that we represent. Those are the issues that we must focus on correcting.
One of the issues it also talks to is this whole debate around state capture. I think this is the first time I've seen a name of a family find itself in the documents of the ANC. The issue of state capture linked to the Gupta family dominates parts of that. And one of the things that it's saying is that those that are implicated should actually own up. Waiting for a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate, would that not take too long for the ANC?
Well, it depends. If anybody feels that they might want to own up onto the thing, onto the issue, I don't think we can stop them. But what we want to avoid is a situation where there's a contestation on the facts, the veracity of the reports that are published in the media. If we have a to and fro kind of exchange, is it true, is it not true, is it fake news, is it real, it doesn't help us anywhere. We don't want to be bogged down with that. We need a platform that will be able to deal with the issues, clinically, dispassionately, and tell us what they find as facts. This is the finding, and so on. Then that way, we don't have to contest the facts. The question is going to be what is true, what is not true, what are the findings, what are not the findings. If you're not happy with those findings, you can take them further to court, and then you can get your issues cleared up there. But for the ANC to take action on a matter like that decisively is tricky, because you cannot take you cannot charge somebody and decide on them on something that you cannot prove on your own, process of leading evidence.
And obviously, this is part of the reasons or the things that you've linked that are putting the distance between yourself and the electorate, because there's continuous harm to the brand ANC, and especially towards the 2019 elections. Do you not risk that harm continuing, especially because the president is still challenging aspects of the public protector's finding on the state capture report?
Well, I think that we have got clearer processes now. If there's going to be a commission, it's easy to know that this is what we're going to, wait for the final outcome and conclusions on the matter. When the issue has to be taken to court, it has to be taken to court. We had agreed much earlier that anyone who feels that they have to take the issue up for review must do so. And so that process we can't really challenge as such. The question at the end of the day is that these members, these delegates who are here, must propose solutions for the benefit of all those members who are wanting to see certain things corrected. And at the end of the day, what is important is how open our delegates are and how open our branches are. So there's actually no need to even expect that we need a clandestine process of dealing with our own ills, because our members are upfront. They don't go about, beat about the bush. They are upfront, and so the issues that were raised by the Secretary General and the President are issues that have come from our own structures. And the fact that the delegates are here, they're going to face up to those issues, frankly.
Have the delegates confronted the ANC in terms of how it has handled many of these crises facing the ANC and in particular the president?
It's going to come up in the discussions. They're open. They have to tell us what they think. And look, at the end of the day, this is how we account. And so they're going to be saying, if they think that we handle this properly, not properly, then they'll be able to tell us all of that.
Let's throw forward as we let you go, TG. It is a policy conference. We are a country with an economy in crisis, unemployment rate the highest in 14 years. Actually, more alarming is that we have more people on social grants than we have those that are in formal employment. But there seems to be a battle about who is the enemy, white monopoly capital or just monopoly capital. Can South African get any confidence that this conference will emerge with things that can resolve their day-to-day challenges?
Look, I think the issue of monopoly capital is an expression in terms of what we have seen as an issue that we have to deal with as a challenge in terms of the way the ownership of the economy is structured and all of that. Now, the fact that in South Africa the dominance in the ownership of the economy is wide means we don't have to spend too much time fighting about its wide monopoly capital or monopoly capital. The fact that we were able to put up a competition commission to actually deal with the monopolistic tendencies, the anti-competitive behavior, that's one of the very major steps towards dealing with dealing with the concentration in the ownership. Now we are saying let's look at more approaches that will open up the economy so that there's a much broader base of expertise, of talents, of entrepreneurs that will be able to participate in the opening and ownership, broadening of ownership, deracializing the economy. So it's an important issue. The issue of the semantics, I think we can put it aside. The core of it is about broadening and deracializing the ownership and the systems of running the economy.
I hope that it does go as quickly as you're proposing, given that has been the conversation that has dominated the news in the past week. And last one, we've just had one of your colleagues, NEC member Supra Mahumapelo, saying there should be a referendum on the land question, whether we should amend the constitution to allow for expropriation without compensation. Would you agree with that?
Well, we've got a conference to discuss all those views. There are many views here, but they are actually correct to be expressed inside the commission. So we'll deal with the views when we come in there.
And as a last one, what are you hoping this conference will do for the party?
One, it should consolidate unity. It must create clarity on a number of policy positions, and it must help us to move towards the conference in December, being able to find a formula that will unite the ANC, assist in creating growth, bringing employment and job creation up, as well as ensuring the transformation of the economy.
Thank you very, very much. That was the Treasurer General of the ANC, Zweli Mkhize, joining us here on Politiki as we continue the coverage of the ANC's 5th National Policy Conference. For now, that's it.